A big hello and a very warm welcome to Brand Equity with me, Sonali Krishna. Today, we have the Sensodyne toothpaste maker, Haleon's category head, oral healthcare, Bhavna Sikka, joining us to talk about the oral care trends in the country, how it's managed to build cachet for its flagship brand, Sensodyne, and what it takes to build a premium oral care offering in a country that, of course, is highly penetrated when it comes to toothpaste, but still is a very basic market. Thank you so much, Bhavna, for joining us right here on Brand Equity. Truly a pleasure. Looking forward to getting your insights on the oral care industry in India. Correct me if I'm wrong, but some research and talking to other oral care players has thrown light on the fact that, yes, while toothpaste is a highly penetrated market in India, there's still a long way to go, and it leaves a lot to be desired. For example, I was told, forget about rural India, even urban India, the kind of toothpaste consumption or oral care awareness is quite low, and people still brush their teeth just once a day.
Thanks, Sonali. I'll try and answer each and every one of the points that you raised, but thank you for, first of all, offering the platform for us to be able to talk about oral health in general and maybe specifically Sensodyne. Yes, you're right. I think the understanding of oral care in the market is still very limited. To the point on basic toothpaste, I think the household penetration data tells us that 85% of the households in India still use generic toothpaste. Specialized toothpaste still don't form more than 15 to 16% of usage when it comes to the toothpaste adoption, although toothpaste is in every house. So toothpaste is a 99% plus penetrated category. So people do realize the importance of having paste as part of their brushing habit. But which paste, I think that is where evolution is yet to happen.
Would I be right to then assume, when you talk of brand loyalty, is unfortunately oral care an industry where any toothpaste available goes?
I think it would be difficult for me to paint with the generic brushstroke, but what I can tell you, on an average, Indian households have at least 3 different toothpaste brands that are coming in. So people do experiment a little bit. Now, that could be because you want to experiment with different toothpaste. It could also be because increasingly, especially in urban India, different members of the family want different toothpaste. Their needs are different. And so therefore, in the same household, sometimes different pastes are coming for different people. But on an average, at least 3 different brands are coming into any average household.
So I guess it's a lot to do with availability and distribution.
Both, everything. I think availability, yes, of course, that, as the saying goes, whatever is there is what will sell. So availability in FMCG, especially when it comes to India, is paramount. Then is the understanding of what people want from a toothpaste. I think for a very long time, expectation from a toothpaste was cavity protection, which you can see the conversation has evolved. There was a time when people were talking a little bit more herbal. Sensodyne, last 12 years, we've really tried to emphasize and educate people on the importance of addressing tooth sensitivity. If you have that short, sharp sensation every time you're having something hot or cold, it is tooth sensitivity, you need to address it. Then you also see there are whitening pastes which are available. So I think there are different need states which different brands are trying to address at this point in time.
Like you to throw light on the 12-year journey of Sensodyne, especially in this market. And of course, Sensodyne being a premium offering, you're obviously catering to, a higher TG. How has that journey been in terms of education, then awareness, and then actually conversion in terms of people sampling and then using the product?
Thanks, Sonali. I might be a little self-indulgent as I answer this one, because this is obviously something those of us who work on the brand feel very passionately about. I think, and you yourself, given the breadth of work that you've done in terms of brand marketing and communication, how difficult this market is to crack and establish a brand new sort of offering and a brand that is unknown. And Sensodyne, global name, not really an Indian sounding name. So the last 12 years that way have been remarkable. I think much of this is given the fact that we've been very consistent in terms of our endeavor on establishing condition awareness. We know 2 in 5 people suffer from sensitivity. So it's not a niche problem. It's a very, very prevalent problem. People did not know that it was a condition or that it had a name. So 12 years ago, when Sensodyne came in the market and said that short, sharp sensation that you feel it's called sensitivity, it's called jhanjhanahat, and it is addressable. And staying focused on that and saying this is a problem and this is a solvable problem is what has played a paramount role in terms of getting the brand where it is. In 12 years time, bringing the brand in the top 5 reckoning within the toothpaste category. This happened on the back of clear focus on consumer education and condition awareness.
So would you now say after 12 years of consistent and persistent, advocacy for tooth sensitivity and of course also a communication, Indians are more akin to now buy a toothpaste that is problem specific than a generic? Are we slightly better in that journey, and what is that kind of scope? I'd also like you to address what it is to set up and actually familiarize a brand that is international, which is also something that requires awareness. What have been the challenges along the way in terms of the Indian market, Indian consumer trends when it comes to oral care?
See, actually, this is so much in this one question. I'll try and see what we can answer while kind of being succinct. See, education, yes, people are evolving. With the media evolution, there has also been greater opportunity in terms of emphasizing and telling people both in the short and the long form as to what this condition is, to be able to educate them that once you have tooth sensitivity, it's a condition. Your teeth are sensitive. It's not an episode. It's not the ice cream that did it. Your teeth are sensitive. And if you don't take care of it, the problem will worsen. So we've had that opportunity over the 12 years to talk about it. Mainline advertising, of course, the conversation, you've seen how the brand kind of leads it, even on ground. So, whether it is at some of the modern trade stores, our activation and charges are there. They take what is called a chill test, which is where they'll ask you to take a sip of cold water and see if you can keep it in your mouth and if you can have it without, sort of some discomfort there. So something as small as that, and telling people that this, what you have is a problem and it's an addressable problem, like I said. People also, I think increasingly there is awareness in terms of what you should not do from an oral care perspective. A couple of years ago, medium to hard toothbrushes, for example, were a bigger part of the toothbrush category. Now we see an evolution of softer brushes, and softer toothbrushes are growing faster, which again, people are getting to know that hard brushing is not good for teeth, enamel erosion happens. So I think some distance on that in terms of what people know, and therefore what are the products they are adopting is getting covered. And of course, all brands, including ourselves, have had a role to play in terms of saying, here are good dental practices and small changes that you can make to take care of your teeth for longer term.
Bhavna, I'm assuming that the role of a dentist in terms of recommendations, in terms of types of products available, specialized, offerings, how important is the role of a dentist, and what is the relationship of an average Indian with a dentist?
Thank you for asking that, Sonali. I think we believe it's very important. So we have a team of about 100 odd representatives in the market who go meet the dentists, who take, of course, the trusted science of our products and explain to the dentist, what each of the products is and how these can help them get better outcomes for their patients. So they play a very, very important role. Now, unfortunately, in India, less than 5% of the people visits dentist preventatively or going for a general checkup to see if anything is wrong. And what that does is it leads to problems going undetected, and then you go to the dentist only when there's a problem, which creates a vicious cycle. You think every time I go to dentist I have a problem and I get a big bill. If you remember, I think when we were in college or school, I think there was this poem by Ojan Nash, which was, "This is going to hurt just a little bit," which said, the vicious cycle of life is that you go to dentist to keep your teeth in good condition, and you want to keep your teeth in good condition so you don't have to visit a dentist again. So I think there is that love-hate relationship which exists, and we are trying to address some of it. I think earlier this year on World Oral Health Day, we took up a campaign called Be Sensitive to Oral Health, where among the things we discussed was the importance of a preventative checkup, of going to dentist proactively. 3rd October is World Dentist Day, wherein again we are trying to shine the light on the importance of dentists, and also humanize that relationship. A lot of our life's milestones are actually around teeth, whether it's the baby sprouting the first 2 teeth, or when you lose your first milk teeth, or even when you see a grandparent at 70, 80, still with good dental hygiene and good strong teeth, and they are able to eat everything, and what a difference it makes to nutrition and their overall health. And in the background is dental health and therefore a dentist. So we are also trying to humanize that conversation, take fear out, and bring in that conversation that dentists are actually doctors of joy. A lot of the small things in your life, which is eating of something cold, eating something sweet that you take for granted, is actually thanks to a dentist.
Absolutely. And I'm quite shocked that it's only 5% go proactively to a dentist. That figure has definitely stood out in this conversation, and hoping that will change. But also, if you could throw light on how big the oral hygiene market is in India, and what are some of the gaps and challenges this market poses, and what, in your opinion, in the next decade or so will drive the growth? Because here we're still at a level where we're trying to increase awareness, right? And tell people, please use specified products for better oral care. So where do you see that needle move?
So Nani, I think if I remember the Nielsen data right, the overall Indian oral healthcare market is pegged at about 1.2 billion British pounds. So it's enormous. It's a big market, but it is still dominated by toothpaste, followed by brushes, and there's a little bit of mouthwash. So mouthwashes are about 2% of the category. Now, if you
Wow.
see globally, mouthwashes comprise of 11% of the overall oral healthcare category. So again,
Okay.
in terms of number of products that people use globally to take care of their dental health, that adoption is not there yet.
Sure.
So even in terms of toothpaste, on an average, Indians are brushing only once a day, when the recommended advice from dental associations is to brush at least twice. So
Sure.
as people take to more global advice, as people hopefully visit dentists more and take to brushing twice a day, that in
Sure.
and by itself should increase the consumption of toothpaste and the growth just within toothpaste. And then of course, whether it is flossers, whether it is mouthwash, there are a lot of other products which have a role to play in overall regime.
Uh, let's take it to your portfolio. I mean, currently, your sensitive toothpaste is, of course, your star brand, and also something which most of us are aware of. But how are you looking to amp up your portfolio? I know that you have brushes as well, and you have something called Protect and Repair, all of that. So you are increasing and ramping up your portfolio. But what is the strategic sense in that route you're taking in terms of ramping up?
Personally, for us, I think toothpaste again remains a core focus area because, like I said, there is a lot of room for growth there itself.
Sure.
2 in 5, I told you, suffer from sensitivity, but only 1 in 4 are treating. So there are still a lot of people who need to be informed about the importance of treating sensitivity. Within sensitivity, we have a big portfolio. There is Sensodyne, there's Sensodyne Repair and Protect. There is Sensodyne Rapid Relief if you have severe sensitivity. There are also oral health problems which tend to be adjacent to sensitivity. So we know, for example, 46% of people who have sensitivity also have gum health issues, which is where about 2 years ago we launched Sensodyne Sensitivity and Gum. So
Yeah.
for us, again, widening of the portfolio to take care of greater health needs adjacent to sensitivity remains our priority.
Tell me, in a market that is so basic at the moment and your offering is a bit sophisticated, are you still focused on driving, volumes at this point than compared to, let's say, increasing usage per user, penetration?
Yeah, absolutely. And again, that core focus over the last 12 years has held us in good stead. With only 1 in 4 treating, huge headroom there. And again, for us, genuinely, even Sensodyne, from a purpose perspective, we do want people to live sensitivity free. You could call us premium, yes, because this is a toothpaste which is almost at a 2.5 price index versus the category average. But at the same time, the problem is not niche, and what we are committed to taking is trusted science, a product which will give you that tangible relief. And for those who are not able to have a glass of cold water in 45-degree heat, it's actually not an esoteric problem that is getting solved. It is something that gives you that twinge every day,
Sure.
and takes away from small little pockets of joy, whether it is sharing an ice cream or whether it is having a hot bowl of soup in winters. The small things are often the big things. And so that's what we're kind of hoping to solve for.
And what would be your key markets at the moment? Of course, the metros, but I'm saying, are you seeing a trend in terms of, let's say, the north versus the east versus the south behaving differently when it comes to, the oral care regimen?
Not really. No, no, no.
No. Okay.
No, not really. I think the prevalence of sensitivity is similar across regions. There is no difference that we see over there. So I think from an adoption perspective, again, we get equal resonance across all four regions.
Bhavna, last couple of questions before I let you go. How does India compare to other developing markets when one talks of just consumption of oral care products?
So, Sonali, again, I'll go back to first the dentist patient ratio. I think in
Yeah.
India, the dentist patient ratio is 2 is to 10,000. In
Wow.
most other markets, even in APAC, if you look at China or if you look at another developing country like Brazil,
Sure.
dentist to patient ratio is 6 is to 10,000. So, nearly three times better than what it is here. And that then gets reflected in the consumption. If you're seeing a dentist more often, if you are that much more aware of what oral health is and what it entails, then it manifests itself in all your habits, including your brushing habit. And then therein is the potential of all products which cater to you keeping it in good care.
Uh, in terms of communication, most of your communication, of course, has been activation, and there's been this whole, program associating with IDA and all of that. But you also do a lot of, mass media. Are you continuing in terms of efficacy with the current marketing mix, or are you looking to, tinker with that?
See, marketing mix, Sonali, as you know better than anyone, is now constantly an evolutionary process. I think media is getting
And
fragmented.
also very confused, I would say.
So it is you're kind of on the treadmill with that one. There's a little bit of catch up that pretty much all marketers are playing. But for us, I think in the last couple of years, digital has become as important as it is. So we're just trying to make sure that we are present everywhere where the consumer is, and also wherever it makes sense to customize communication such that
Sure.
people find relevance and resonation that we are doing. So overall for us, the traditional means of media, radio, TV, print are there. Digital is increasingly important. I think one other lever which I would say from a mass brand perspective is unique to us, but we give a lot of importance to, is our contact and our coverage of dentists, going meeting dentists and taking our science and taking our products to them, and through them reaching the consumers who need it the most.
And Bhavna, if I ask you in terms of the medium term, the next 5 years, what are you expecting in terms of vision for Sensodyne to achieve in the Indian market? And what can Indian consumers expect from you in the next 5 years?
I think I'll answer the second one first. We are hoping to be able to deliver to Indian consumer a world-class oral health regime with Sensodyne. To be able to give products that cater to all possible needs, from paste to toothbrushes, and soon even mouthwashes, right? So a
Okay.
full regime for sensitivity is what we aim to offer to the consumer here. Now, again, in terms of what is our goal, it would be increased penetration. Like I said,
Yeah.
only 1 in 4 are treating. I think for us, our purpose comes alive when we can say that anyone and everyone who had sensitivity now has a solution to live sensitivity free. So I think when we get to that, that would be the North Star.
On that note, thank you so much, Bhavna. It's been wonderful chatting and getting all these valuable insights on the oral care industry.
Thank you, Sonali. Thank you.
Well, here's hoping Sensodyne has a very successful innings in the Indian market, and also that Indians take to oral care a lot more than they've been doing so far. Thank you so much.